All right, Logan Halstead. Probably one of the most exciting young artists out there, I would say. And I don't know if you probably hear a lot of it on social media and whatnot, but you're a really young kid. So to be this good, and I'm not, you don't got to talk about how good you think you are, but we can tell you to be this good and have that voice at this age. Did you know pretty early, or was this kind of something that came along more in your teenage years?
No, it came really late. Really, I never knew. I always thought that I was in the bubble. I think about that a lot. Like, of course, my family's going to say that I sound good. Of course, my close friends are going to say that I sound good. So most of my most of the time that I was playing, though, I just thought I was in a bubble until I got later in my teenage years and started playing out in front of people and want the crowds of people come up to me and were digging it and were telling me, how good that they thought it sounded. And that's when it hit me.
Okay.
You're a West Virginia native. I feel like there's like Charles Wesley Godwin, another guy from there. Like, you guys just like pick up a guitar one day and are just like savant musician, singer songwriters with like this deep guttural like connection to human soul. Like, and you're like, yeah, I don't know. I started singing. Like, it's like, what about that area just breeds talent?
Man, I think a lot of kids around here, I know for me especially, like I grew up pretty fast. You don't get to be a kid. You kind of got to go straight into adult shit and have a good head on your shoulders. And I think a lot of us just living around here and obviously Kentucky and West Virginia, just having such musical influences around here. Those two things together, I think makes really great songwriters come out of this area.
Who
Right.
did you go ahead?
Go ahead, Wes.
I would
No,
say,
no,
who
go
did you
ahead.
kind of grow up listening to? Like, what was being played in the house?
For me, my mom's favorite is Vern Godson. Um, but for me, really, I had we had a lot of vinyl of like rock and metal, and I grew up on Metallica and Iron Maiden and Pink Floyd, and it was crazy for me. I always loved, obviously the older country guys like Waylon and Willie and Merle and George, and they were huge influences, especially for my mom. But yeah, I think it was crazy to me at first, really, that I got into playing country and just having such like rock influences. But later in my high school years, I found Sturgill and I found Tyler, I found Nick Jamerson, and I found Cole Chaney. Actually, was
Hmm.
he was a big one there, like in my later years in high school, and just hearing those people, um, it was like it was okay to be from my area. You know what I mean? We were always the Hicks and the inbreds and the Blue, and yeah, I think it was great hearing them and them tell their stories about around here. That was a huge influence.
We actually just had Cole on. He was a good dude. It's funny you guys tend to have this similar demeanor. A lot of you guys where it's super relaxed and humble, and we talk about like the actual skill, and you compare it to like some of the pop country radio people, and it's just like to me, it's like what you guys are doing is not even comparable to that watered down stuff. So perhaps you guys for kind of keeping your head on right and all that. Are you? I don't know. We had like a couple of notes from an employee, but you're not. Are you still in high school, or are you done with high school? We
Now I'm
weren't sure
done.
if that you're
I'm
done with high
done.
school. Okay, so I think she had a year late on the bio, but um, so now it's just 100% music. School's over. It's got to feel good, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's been great since I was pretty much 17. That's been my job is playing music. So yeah, it's been incredible.
Have you had one of those like holy shit moments where you were like, I can't believe I'm doing this? Like, maybe you were
Too,
at like a festival or something or met somebody.
too many of them. I think Laurel Cove was the first big one. Laurel Cove Music Festival out in Pineville, Kentucky. That was the first huge one. I hadn't played. That might have been my first festival that I played, honestly. and just seeing that amount of people, because they had a smaller like campground stage, and it was a walk. You had to either go through the woods, or there was a road that like went around, and it was a walk. So like people splitting their decisions of like main stage, campground stage, main stage, and to see that many people just come walking down there and leave the main stage and come and see me was a huge like hit you right in the feels moment right there.
I think isn't that where you played that song "Pussy" in Paintsville?
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of great clips of that one. That's
Everyone started just like hooting and hollering. Like, is there like a inside Kentucky knowledge that's like because that's a town in Kentucky, right?
yeah,
Is that like
yeah.
they got like prostitutes there, or is it like? 'Cause
I,
it seemed like everyone was in on the joke, and I'm not from Kentucky, so I was like, what the? Why is everyone laughing so hard?
that's the funny one because I was like living in West Virginia at the time, and like I'd maybe been to Paintsville like once or twice, and there's no truth in that song whatsoever.
Just the peas that work.
Yeah, like man, it's just one of those like Rodney Carrington or like Wheeler Walker songs that was just goofy and it
Oh,
stuck,
yeah.
man. I just love it because Paintsville is just it's kind of like when Tyler talks about West Virginia or like a movie references West Virginia, like West
Mhm.
Virginian fucking crazy because it's like nobody talks about us, and we hear that and they're like, oh my God, West Virginia. I think it's just one of them things. Like they hear Paintsville and they hear Eastern Kentucky and they're like, yeah, this is funny.
That's hilarious. I mean, a much different song, obviously. The one that's done the really crazy streaming numbers for you, Dark Black Coal, amazing song. Can you give the story a little bit? Obviously, if you listen to it, it's super deep and an emotional song about like upbringing and the hard work people put in. But can you tell us kind of the story and kind of what made you write that one?
That one really, I was at my mama and papa's one day, and I just got the urge to just write something, and I went in the bathroom actually and closed the door because you get great acoustics,
Mhm.
you don't have anything. So I went in there and sat down and just started playing the first few chords of that one, and that was one of those that just you write it in 5 minutes, and it was just the one that really spoke to people and really spoke to me the most, and that's where I get my writing a lot is like I'm not really out for everybody. I'm not doing this for everybody. Like I like these songs. These songs resonate with me, and if they resonate with everybody else, that's awesome. But yeah, that was just one that came quick and just really tells the story of growing up around my area. Um, all the older adults that were in the mining business, they always kind of told us, the young kids is like, you don't want to do this. This is you go to college and you need to get out of here. You don't want to keep doing this.
Mhm. Nice.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
seems
that's a
like
great
there's
one.
almost like a love-hate relationship with coal in a way in the area because it's like obviously it provides for so much of the families in Appalachia, but it's also like another thing that like it seems like nobody wants to actually be doing. It's kind of a dangerous job. It's physical. Like, is that kind of like how it is there?
Yeah, yeah. Boone County, especially where I grew up, is pretty much the only thing. There's, you know, um, a coal mine every couple miles, and there's like two gas stations. So you take your choice.
How far is like the
Yeah.
nearest like Walmart or Kroger or whatever?
Kroger's like so that was a big thing when I was a kid. It's like going to town. That was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting the car. We're going to town. It's probably like 40 minutes
Damn.
from like a Kroger.
It's a
Yeah,
hike.
Yeah, it's a
and then
hike.
there's one grocery store, but they like hike the prices way up because they know they're the only one.
Man.
Yeah. I know you're not of drinking age, but is there a lot of like in that area, a lot of moonshiners and people doing it the old school way still, stuff like that, like with the old school
Yeah,
kind of, yeah.
I mean when we were in high school, we had a little bucket still.
Oh yeah. I mean, we did it too growing up in Indiana. Wes was kind of out in the country and by Iowa too in Illinois. And I just assume over there it's like you're in the woods, hard work and there's not much. But honestly, your connection right now, I don't know where you're at right now. Where are you at right now?
We're in Pikeville, Kentucky.
Okay. I couldn't tell from the back, but I mean, we've had people on the podcast with the worst internet imaginable, and they're like in a house in Nashville. It's like you've been crystal clear so far. So I appreciate that.
Hit or miss out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I first was growing up, we were trying to get like the high speed internet, and I only lived about like 5 miles from town, so it was fairly close. Took maybe 5 minutes to get there, but like we just couldn't. They're like, "Oh, sorry, that the high speed internet doesn't go that far." like okay, I guess we'll just never have streaming or Netflix or any of that shit.
No downloading.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Sorry, I was looking at some of the questions your fans sent in. We asked about influences. Oh, you got a ton of questions about, and I know you probably get it all the time, about a full-length album. If you can, there's a timeline, because it seems like everybody's itching for a ton of new music from you. Is there any news on that, or not yet?
Be looking for something sometime around May. That's all I'll put out there right now.
You can say it. You can say it. And you just dropped what was it called? Good Old Boys and Bad Names. I can't read my own handwriting.
Yep.
Is that going to be on this project in May?
Yeah. That I think it'll definitely be.
Nice.
Right on. Cool. We had another fan question that asked for your Mount Rushmore of country music.
That's a tough one.
Who's on your Mount Rushmore?
That's a good one. Damn. I'd probably have to go with Tony Rice will be on there if you count that one as country.
Yeah. It's under the umbrella.
Yeah. Tony's up there. I think a big one for me is Merle. And then, fuck, I don't know, man. That's it.
It's the two.
That is a tough one. I think we posted that on that question on Twitter too, and it was pretty all over the place.
Yeah, there's too many, dude. There's too many, especially growing up like I did. And the only thing you can get me to pay attention, it's cool to fucking anything, man. But I can pay attention. Yeah, there's too many, man. It'd be too big of a mountain.
Yeah, I here's one more though. I don't know if you dabble in the marijuana and the weed and all that good stuff, but somebody asked, do you write songs better after smoking?
Yeah, I'd say so. For me, it gets me creative.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever I don't know if I've ever wrote one sober. So
I mean, there you go. It's crazy. Like,
I've never done a podcast sober.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, we've had some old ones too where we mix edibles with booze, and that was not. We had to like just scrap them because we don't even. Literally, would wake up the next day. And we're like, I don't even know what we talked about. And we just say, forget it. Just not worth it. Not worth it being out there. But it is crazy. I'm in Colorado, so obviously everybody here is just so normal. Just smokes or pens or edibles. Like the creative block, and then you just take a hit of a weed pen, even if it's just a little bit, and you're just like, boom, oh, I feel good. Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. You just start jotting stuff down. Is it similar for you?
Yeah, absolutely. It hits me the most in the morning, man. I wake up and then hit something, and instantly I'm like, man, I want to pick up my guitar. Like, I want to play something. I want to write something. Yeah.
Do you like sit down to write a lot, or is it more of a when the moment strikes kind of deal?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, I can't do it like schoolwork, man. I can't sit down and say I'm gonna write a song. Most all of mine have been like driving is one, just driving, and something will hit me, and I got to pull over and write a little. Maybe it's a couple lines, and then go home and think about the rest of it, or they always just, it's kind of they just hit you in the moment.
Do you like hear
Yeah.
the melody or is it just like the words? Because I always have such a hard time with like, as soon as I start thinking I'm maybe writing a song in my head, then I'm like, oh, that sounds a lot like insert song.
Right.
And then I'm on that wavelength and then I can't get it out of my head. And then it's like, fuck this. What am I doing? I'm
Yeah,
not a songwriter.
both. I do a lot of both, but yeah, I get that too all the time. I mean, probably about every song I write, I'm like, I feel like I've heard this song. I don't remember this song, but I've heard this song before, and I feel like I'm ripping something off here. And yeah, you get those feelings, but I think a lot of it is just just being nervous about your own work.
Yeah. Let's see if any other questions here. Oh, touring. Are you gonna be? What's the rest of 2023 looking like? A lot more
Yeah,
shows, or yeah.
yeah, we we did pretty good last year. We were pretty busy. This year's gonna be a hell of a lot more busy. So yeah, we'll have shows most about anywhere you can catch us, but definitely all along the East Coast.
Nice.
We'll have all kinds.
Do you ever get to Nashville, or what do you think of it if you have?
Yeah, every once in a while, I can't say that I can't lie and say I don't hate on Nashville a lot. I do like it there. I think I haven't found a lot of great venues that I like. I play Third and Lindsley there. That's
Mhm.
I like. I've been to the basement. That's a great one. But yeah, I haven't been there too much. Don't know too much, but I stay away from Broadway.
Yeah. No, man, we could talk all for an hour about Broadway and what it's turned into, but yeah, you don't strike me as the guy in Nashville like, hey man, we should write some, like somebody like these people have sold shirts that say that we should write sometime. You're talking about your songwriting and the
Yeah.
way a lot of Nashville work, you go into like a boardroom with a big fancy table and computer chairs and you all sit around and don't know each other potentially. And all right,
Right as hit.
to me, that sounds like my worst nightmare to be creative.
Yeah,
Here's somebody
absolutely.
you don't know. Here's another person you don't know. Sit in a room with white walls and a bare ass gray carpet and just sit there in an office building. Write a song. It's like, I mean, does that sound like the worst kind of process for you? Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, yeah. I shit on the Nashville Cats a lot. Yeah.
You
I guess if you
ever,
find your click, it'll work, but you like your group, but
do you write with other people? Like ever? Do you ever have
Uh,
co-writes?
I have a little bit here and there, but no, mostly it's just a me thing. I got to be me by myself, alone, nobody around, and
Yeah.
just pumping words out.
You were featured on that song on Arlo McKinley's last album, which was awesome. How did that kind of come about? Just he asked you to be on it, or what was the
Yeah, I couldn't believe that when we got to go down to Memphis to Sam Phillips recording studio down there, which is legendary. And yeah, that comes a huge surprise. A kid like me, I was really just getting started out playing shows and got flown down to Memphis, and yeah, that was just a really cool project to be on.
yeah, he's awesome. Last question from me. Just curious, you're talking about touring more and you're obviously a young dude and maybe you don't have a ton of shows on your belt quite yet, but what's the craziest or like the worst performance either you've had, or craziest maybe something in the crowd, or have you ever just shit the bed completely with a performance, forgetting songs or equipment issues or any of those? Because everybody seems to have one. And I imagine.
Um, let's see. I tend to like. I get kind of mad sometimes about talkers during shows,
Oh
and
yeah.
in this one venue, I'm not gonna name the venue because I love them to death, and I don't want to no hate on them, but I was just playing the venue, and there was a table right up front that were just talking and talking and talking. And I ended up going on a rant for like 5 minutes. So it's like when a kid like first words and he's just like saying everyone he and yeah, they ended up leaving. And then it was a show after that. So yeah, that's probably one of them.
Nice.
Oh, that's hilarious. I think
Well,
Miranda Lambert even did that recently.
really?
Yeah, she was like, it was, well, I mean, not that recently, but within
yeah.
the last year. Like, I'm pouring my heart out up here. You shut the fuck up, kind of thing.
Well, Sturgill had that. We posted this. This is I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. Sturgill broke up a fight. I forgot what venue it was, and I think he's doing a cover of. It's like Roy Orbison. Like it was like an old school cover of some sort. I'm blanking on it, but emotional song. And these two guys start fighting, and he just stops and she's like, "How the fuck are you gonna fight when I'm singing this song?"
Right.
But it's like, man, I can't imagine having to deal with like drunks doing something where you got to like be focused and you're playing an instrument and you're singing. You got to remember lyrics, and then drunk assholes are fighting or something. Oh man, that's got to be. I mean, as your crowd grows, which it will, you're gonna get more and more.
More and more distractions.
I mean, even bras go on stage, like like you don't know what's gonna happen up there. But,
Yeah.
Well, dude, I mean, we love your music, so I'm glad you gave us a little tidbit of hopefully when we can kind of catch the new stuff, and stay safe out there, man. You got so much ahead of you, so we're pumped for you and gonna share the hell out of all your music as it comes out.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys so much. Yeah. It's been a blast.